everyone. Welcome to another episode of AI Spotlight Show. We are currently at the Google Cloud Nest 2025 conference, and today we'll be featuring Lucid. And we have a representative from Lucid. His name is Jason. Jason, nice to have you on our AI Spotlight Show.
Yeah,
What do you
absolutely.
do at Lucid?
Yeah, so really focused on helping different knowledge workers brainstorm and develop really clear processes with intelligent diagramming, making data visualization a little bit more playful. I'm currently focused on the product marketing side, previously being a solutions engineer. Really, so just working with all different sizes of businesses. It's incredible to see just how much visual collaboration is taking off.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, today we'll be deep diving into some of the AI solution that Lucid customers can leverage on the Lucid platform. Do you mind telling us about what are the specific AI solutions does Lucid provide? From a platform perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really intentional where we put AI in our products. We're really thinking about how users are collaborating with one another. Whether you're brainstorming in Lucidspark, being a whiteboard, we really want accessibility to be front and center for users and intuitive. So one of my favorite ways is that when we're using these whiteboarding tools, you can brainstorm different things on sticky notes. Maybe you're trying to map out kind of a mind map of ideas. Let's say we're trying to organize an event and understand different dairy-free options. We can click on that idea and then generate more ideas. So it's really a good kind of soundboarding partner in helping us reflect on other variables that maybe we're not thinking of. We kind of get in our own sound chambers and we meet these creative blocks, and sometimes you just need an extra voice to unlock new ideas. And that's one way in Lucidspark, but in Lucidchart, being the intelligent diagramming, you'll find it's really intelligent there and intentional because we help people with mapping out prompt engineering, understanding kind of like the construct of how to organize that prompt, and even being able to automatically visualize processes. Rather than starting from scratch and spending too much time building out what a process looks like, you can tell Lucid, hey, I'm trying to explain Kubernetes to a 5-year-old, and it will actually diagram the whole thing out and keep it conversational so that you're not wasting time building out those flowcharts. You basically just tell it what you want and it puts it on the canvas for you.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, based on what you are describing about the AI solution that customers can leverage on Lucid platform, can you say, are they generating AI-based capability, or do they have other, when it comes to AI application, right? We have the generative AI that powered by LLM. We have like the computer vision model. We have what we call the deep learning. Yeah, but based on your description, this capability, are they like generative AI capability where you can tell the tool itself by writing a prompt and say, okay, can you do this for me?
Yes, so we have done a really great job of being able to, tell it what we're looking for and being able to even point out where different features are within the tool itself, just to help you with kind of adoption of the tool and understanding. We have some feature finder features that, you can basically tell it what you're looking for and it will point to where it is in the platform. That's really core to what Lucid's doing, is that we want to make sure that data visualization and the human story in all of these processes are accessible to everyone. We're really moving from a world where these specialized tools require you to have a master's to use the tool, into like making sure that everyone has the ability to impact the org. As things are getting scrappier and people are really moving quicker, we need people to be able to have the same level of access as the pros. And so we're definitely thinking through how we encourage users to find those features and not only do that, but actually build within the platform with AI.
That is really amazing. My next question: how do at what phase of AI life cycle, you understand, can customers leverage Lucid technology? And I'll give you a context to this. This might look technical. Um, when it comes to AI lifecycle, it's like segmented into 6 phases.
Uh-huh.
Then the first phase is called the ideation phase, which is identifying the business problem, which I
Yes.
think that is where Lucid, come into the picture.
Yep.
Then now making it more direct for you. Now, how can customers leverage the Lucid AI capability when identifying a specific AI business use case? And I'll give you an idea because I'm a product manager, an AI product manager. As a product manager, one, you need to build the product vision. You need to build the product strategy. Then, and when you are building an AI product vision or AI product strategy, first thing, you need to identify what kind of AI capability do you want to build? What problem does it want to solve, right?
Yes.
And in that ideation process of thinking what AI technology you want to build, there are certain things that you have to do. One, you have to create a business requirement where you write like the user stories, and you also need to create some kind of diagrams like your UML diagrams in order to capture the business requirement in the visual format. Then can you tell us how organization can leverage Lucid platform to identify their business use cases, most especially let us assume in a design thinking workshop?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So I love the way that you're talking about the different stages of building. One of our key graphics that we always show is ideate, design, launch, monitor, deploy, and it's so important to think about each stage of building because you have to be intentional with where you are in that journey, and it's really not a linear path. Building is not just like this linear journey of like ideate and then just design and then it's done. Oftentimes you do that and then you kind of continue this continuum. So I love the infinity symbol to represent exactly what you're talking about. Very simply, like if you're training for a marathon, you need to train for a 5K, a 10K, and then get the marathon. But like celebrate the wins along the way. And so I share that as kind of just a baseline foundation for how we're thinking about building in Lucid, because ideation happens in Lucidspark, and expanding and encouraging diverse ideas before we build. And sometimes when we build, we kind of get a consensus from groups that that's the pathway forward, only to find that we maybe left something in the sandbox, and that's when we come back to it, grab that idea and then build it in the future, because there's kind of a baseline posture and foundation we have to build on, and then we launch and deploy it. But there's some other really good ideas that happened in that sandbox. And so when we're brainstorming and building out, that's one part of it. Also, like encouraging other like creatives and knowledge workers, people have expertise that can help our technical partners. Their opinion's valid. They're on the front lines. They know what they're hearing from customers. They are a part of supporting the organization from like a people ops standpoint. But on the back end, like a PM, you need to be able to efficiently map out the connective tissue between the tools that you're building. And so we can verbalize that, but visualization doesn't always come, like not everyone sees visually, where I could say a blue room and I can see a blue room, but I know some people can't picture things. They don't have that, but once they see it, they understand it. And so for me, I think that unlocking the power of visualization for people to see it, it feels more tangible. And I mean, it accelerates momentum endlessly. When people see it, it becomes real. And so, really just bringing back to the days of cave drawings. We've come a long way since cave drawings, so I don't mean to go there all the way back in time, but, we would draw stories out on the walls, and, we would all connect with them without words. And so we've come so far, society is, just grown so much, but at our core, we're visual creatures. And so we can't lose that in, technology. And Lucid's really bridging that gap and making sure that those with neurodivergent neurodivergent challenges or different learning styles or language barriers. We're bringing that in so that no matter where you are, you can see it, believe it, and build it. And so I think a lot of what you're talking about is UML and ERD and all of the different tools that are in Lucidchart. That's why we call it our intelligent diagramming platform, because it brings in the data intelligence and immersion that you would expect, which is kind of, looking behind us here. This is actually Lucidchart right now. You can use it to visualize your org, really understand kind of, future state within, employees. Maybe you want to compare pay equity, all of the different things. And, it's really that continuum. So I love what you were saying there about just kind of the full stage of building and deploying.
Yeah, this is really amazing. Based on the things that you explained about the capability of the Lucid AI technology, because I also have added knowledge on business analysis. There is an association, it's called International Institute of Business Analysis, and they have what we call an handbook, it's called Bubble. Then in that handbook, we have some certain deliverables that business analysts need to deliver or product owner. And one of those things are like the process flow diagram, the sequence flow, the entity relationship diagram, the architectural diagram,
Yes.
and what other diagram again? Yeah, there's a lot of
Product roadmaps and
product roadmaps. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's amazing that right now you can just write a prompt
Yeah.
on Lucy, and it will go ahead and create this diagram on the zone.
Totally. I mean, you're taking context from conversations with customers and partners and internal stakeholders. And, I always think of AI like enter the third person, being able to say, hey, we have this new product that's coming out that's solving this unique problem. We believe it's going to have this impact on these users. I need to be able to convey that information to my CTO. They have so much information spiraling in their world all the time. The more clean, the more concise, and the more, the more they can embody that story personally, the more momentum you get.
That's a very important point you just raised now. In business, one of the methodology of business analysis, one is stakeholder management.
Yes.
Then when it comes to stakeholder management, it emphasizes that you must understand how to communicate to various stakeholders.
Yes.
Then if you are holding like a design thinking workshop for, let us assume that majority of the stakeholders are those in the security team, then you can easily use the Lucid diagram and said, help me create an architectural diagram by considering the target audience to be those from the security team.
Totally, yes.
And
yes,
make sure that the diagram align to what
they need to know and see.
Can actually align with. They can relate with it.
Yes, I so wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying, because we get so into our own world and like what we're building and what's important to us, but we have to be able to translate that to other stakeholders. And I think about that even when we're working with PMs. Again, I was a solutions engineer, I'm now a PMM, so I've been able to really see kind of the trials and the struggles and translation from even the PM world to what that impact is to your CSMs, your go-to-market teams.
Yeah.
So you might build this tool that does this really great thing, and you're really excited about what you built, but I think it's really important to fall in love with solving the problem, not how you solve the problem. It's so easy to fall in love with how you solve the problem because we can create really incredible and cool things, but we don't realize that we can build with bias if we're not including other people. And so Lucid does such a good job of enabling you to do your job well. And let's say you map out what the project and maybe your mermaid code, like maybe you want to visualize that code before you deploy. You can do that in Lucidchart, but then you can also reskin the canvas like a palette and bring in creating that collaboration that invites users in, and maybe even prompt it and say like, hey, based on what you see here, can we reframe this for a CSM to understand why it's important to them, why they should talk about it with customers, what the impact is to our end user, because you've done a lot of that work, but it's in your language, it's not in their language. So how do we bridge the gap between cross-functional teams so that we can all align and really kind of unify the entire business? And I think that that's where Lucid's so uniquely positioned, because we're not thinking about just one solution for all. Lucid truly is for everyone, with pointed applications for every knowledge worker. We're not trying to cram everyone into one environment. We've created rooms just like your home, where we have, there's a reason why you have a kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. I could sleep on my couch, but my bed is better for me. And we're thinking through all of that for every knowledge worker.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, I have a very technical question for you. Can I upload, let me assume, maybe like a screenshot that has a diagram, and upload it into Lucid and ask the generative AI to help me recreate the same diagram but to be more enhanced?
So what I think you're referring to,
Let us assume that I don't know how to create the prompts,
yes,
right? But I have a diagram, like an insight, you understand,
Yep.
that looks similar to what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I upload it into Lucid and ask Lucid, please, can you help me to reproduce the same diagram as captured in the screenshot and let it be more enhanced?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different options. So I'll run through them at a high level just so you know what's available.
I'm saying this, on ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
You can upload images,
have it contextualize it. Yes. So what I would recommend is, if you have an image that you don't own the diagram for, use a tool to contextualize it before you ingest it into Lucid. Primarily because we are not contextualizing images that were produced outside of Lucid, that weren't native to Lucid. But with that being said, I do want to highlight that there are other opportunities, being if you are migrating from tools like Visio or Miro or other Canvas related tools, you can actually export those files and import them into Lucid. And we don't only just import the image, we recreate all the shapes and the objects native to Lucid. So if you own the process, or you have it in a file that's in like kind of an external tool, and it's not just like a screenshot, we can recreate the file. So you can actually override the text and change things. So there's a few different options for it, but I would still say that because we're not contextualizing all images within the platform, in our current state, you may still need to contextualize that before you ingest it in Lucid.
That makes sense. Now, my question would be, what is the value proposition, the business value, for organizations that are bringing in, leveraging this Lucid AI capability? Yeah,
Yes.
What is the business value? What are the value?
Yeah, I think that specifically to AI, a lot of the value propositions are that the information that we are ingesting is cleaner. It's more. It has a standard framework for how we're conveying and consuming information, and I think that it really encourages other people to unlock other sides of their brain. Like being able to convey information is one thing, being able to visualize it's another. And if we can kind of encourage more curiosity and building amongst your entire workforce, that unlocks a superpower within an organization that again just accelerates momentum. So being able to make that more accessible with text prompts, I think encourages people to play with ideas and dissect them more, because text editors can be so limiting, like conveying an idea and then adding another paragraph and another paragraph. You have to read the whole thing to figure out what you want. And having these kinds of diagrams allows you to skim in a world where things are going fast. And I think more importantly, seeing yourself in the process. When I read a blog or a post, I'm consuming someone else's ideas word for word. When I visually see a diagram, I see myself in it. And I think it's important for people to see themselves in the process, because otherwise, like, you're not going to get stakeholder buy-in.
Yeah, based on what you just said now, I see organization, you know, being more creative with this Lucid AI capability, and also saving time,
Yes.
and employees becoming more productive and more efficient as well, and at the same time helping organization to deliver more efficient products in terms of user experience.
Yeah, that's you summarized that so well. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I think, one other thing is soundboarding is really important, and the best decisions are not made in silos. And sometimes, even when I visualize my content, I'll lasso around the objects and ask AI to summarize it, and it will actually summarize what is on the canvas. And I'll read the output, and if it doesn't summarize what I was trying to convey, I realized that my idea was not clear enough. And so it really allows me to make sure that what I'm building is understandable, not just only to me, but to others. And so I think that making sure that everyone has equal footing in the room is like an incredible opportunity with Lucid.
Thanks, Anand. Then I have two more questions.
Yeah.
Second to the last would be, what kind of industries, can leverage Lucid AI capability tools? Is it something that different kinds of industry can leverage, or is there a limitation to some certain industries?
It's really open to all different industries, and that's where Lucid's, really, really impactful, because we'll work with large manufacturing companies, banks, also like government companies. We're FedRAMP certified. We have, so many different groups that we're working with, from tech to traditional to even just like general creative and knowledge workers. So it's really open to everyone, because we are as mature and broadly applicable. It really applies to everyone.
That's amazing. Yeah, can you say three things that makes Lucid more distinct in terms of design AI capabilities than any of their counterparts, like Visio and the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it goes in tandem with, like, we are a suite of tools. And so we're solving for, pointed solutions within our whole suite. We've not, we haven't put everyone into one environment or canvas where, like I said, the whiteboarding is really powerful, but, we want to encourage other technical users to have all the resources they need to be able to build in an environment that's familiar to them. And so, we're always thinking with AI, you probably understand this, garbage in, garbage out. It's only as good as the prompting. So how do we encourage users to be able to enhance their prompts? If you're not good at drafting a prompt, we have the ability for you to be able to write a really simple short text and turn on a feature to enhance the prompt, which actually uses AI to improve your prompt to get a better output. So we're improving accessibility in all ends of the platform, and we're not boiling the ocean in any of our products. We're making sure that when you're brainstorming, we're helping you brainstorm. When we're summarizing and working with others, we can do that in an intentional whiteboard. When we are in a technical environment and we're trying to visualize connective tissue or product roadmaps, we have an intentional contextual panel that's going to relate to that knowledge worker. And most other tools, they try to cram AI just everywhere they can without the user understanding when and where they should interact with it. But when you navigate in our tools, it's really, really purpose built, and you feel that just in its core.
Well, that is amazing. Nice to have you on our AI Spotlight show, Jason. I really appreciate. And hopefully, in our next episode, we can have you demo it virtually to our audience. This brings us to the end of today's live section with Lucy. And I believe if you're a business analyst or a product owner or a product manager, you want to check out some of Lucid AI capability, how it can help you to deliver most of your deliverables in terms of helping you to create your business requirement document or your product requirement document, and also some of your visual diagrams, requirements as well, in order to help you in your brainstorming section or your design thinking section, as well as your presentation section, doing requirement gathering with business stakeholders, as well as helping you to improve your relationship and communication with stakeholders, which help you in better stakeholder management. Thank you so much for joining this edition of AI Spotlight with Lucid. Do take care of yourself, and thank you.